Hello, I'm comedian Jerry Rocha, and today, due to overwhelming demand from absolutely nobody, I'm going to talk to you about a game that I think is criminally underappreciated. And that game is Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Sometimes, for whatever reason, pop culture decides to just take a massive shit on things. Like a fuck you for even existing kind of shit. Sometimes it's deserved, like how after 6 months of worshiping the guy, my entire generation just turned on Vanilla Ice, and how thankfully a generation later did the exact same thing to Kid Rock. But don't be fooled. Everyone my age who turned on Vanilla Ice still knows every word to Ice Ice Baby by heart, even if they haven't heard the song in like 15 years. Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping. I looked none of that up. It just fucking lives here. So part of me will always be a little sad that Vanilla Ice never lived up to his promise. Sad enough that, as annoying as he was, I still felt a little bad when you found out Suge Knight dangled him outside of a hotel window. Now, for some inexplicable reason, gamers did the exact same turning on Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest for the NES. The game suddenly became a punchline just like 10 or 15 years ago. It feels like we just woke up one day and decided that Castlevania 2 sucked and fuck it. I'm not sin-free here. I fell for that shit too. God, I would be at balls, soiree, motels with women of the night. And every time Castlevania 2 got brought up, and believe me, it got brought up a lot, I cowardly rode the, oh yeah, it sure did suck, wave. Challenging nothing, conforming. I would even assign what I loved about Castlevania 2 to Castlevania 3. I prefer part 3, actually, where you could go into towns and get information from the townsfolk, and then it would change from night into day. And the person I would talk to would do the exact same thing. Oh yeah, guy. Same here. Now we're enough Castlevania talk. Get over here. These boobs aren't gonna poop on themselves. It was baffling. Why did Castlevania 2 suddenly get the exact same treatment as Jaws fucking 4, The Revenge? I loved Castlevania 2 when it came out. All my friends who got it and played the game, they loved it as well. And in a much more stable way than we later learned to love Vanilla Ice. We would pass around the Nintendo Power issue of Castlevania 2 like it was a stolen porno magazine. In fact, when I actually got to the age of just legally buying porno magazines and looking at them, didn't have the same oomph as that Nintendo Power did. And let's talk about that issue of Nintendo Power for a second. Holy shit, what a fucking cover. There's Simon Belmont, the hero of Castlevania 1 and 2, clad in armor and holding Dracula's severed head while his eyes are still glowing and his mouth is frozen in a scream. The cover of Nintendo Power magazine, which was a magazine for children. Just for children. I never once saw some weird grown-up pick up a Nintendo Power magazine like I would sometimes see a weird grown-up pick up a pro wrestling magazine issue or two. Funny, Mom was never worried about me being alone in the magazine aisle of the grocery store while the grown man picking up a pro wrestling magazine was there too. She was like, that stranger I'm not really worried about. Even if he does stuff you into a van, there's probably a 98% chance that van doesn't run, so you'll be rescued in no time. And the Castlevania 2 issue of Nintendo Power with Dracula's severed head was the second issue of the magazine's run. Issue number 1 had a cover of adorable claymation Mario just hopping around. Nintendo Power went from Sesame Street to the original cover of Appetite for Destruction in just one issue. That Castlevania 2 cover gave all kids of my generation major, you know what? You're an adult now. Fuck it. Steal a car vibes. And parents lost their minds over that cover. But I promise you, no kid my age was scared of that thing. I mean, we were already 2 years removed from seeing Optimus Prime eat shit in a movie theater. So to us, seeing Dracula's severed head on the cover of a magazine, that was like Rainbow Connection. And It makes you wonder, if none of those soft-ass parents had complained about that Castlevania 2 cover, would the cover of the third issue of Nintendo Power just been Peach's tits? So while having zero to do with the gameplay or presentation of Castlevania 2, it already gets street cred just for that Nintendo Power cover alone. Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest already has a few points in the Don't Call It a Comeback game. So I thought, okay, let me just replay the game. Let's just see if it deserved any of this, oh, this game blows, cloud that had been hanging over it. Could 11-year-old me have been correct in making this game one of the last great memories I had until, soon enough, masturbating walked in and just completely took over the game. So I dusted off my old copy of Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. And I mean, I really dusted it off. It had been buried with my great grandmother. I also found my Smurfs game for the ColecoVision and a few of the tracks I needed to complete my Omega Supreme figure. That Grave Robin turned out to be a pretty decent score. Can't take it with you, Great Grams, but nice fucking try. I slapped this motherfucker in the old NES and I decided to give it another spin. And 11-year-old me was right. This game is fucking great. It still holds up. In this video, I'll break down a lot of the common gripes people have with Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest and do my darndest to defend it. So let's go. The Devil's Advocate. Thank you for the title, Mike Black. Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. One of the gripes. I don't like how long the game changes when it turns from daytime to nighttime and vice versa. The fuck out of here. That's a gripe. The time the game takes to change from day to night, it takes like 11 seconds tops. How much coke are you snorting while playing Castlevania 2? Where the fuck else do you have to be that you decided to pop in Castlevania 2 for 30 seconds and hope you could finish it that quickly? Oh, come on. Come on. Change time already. Change time. If that part of the game upsets you so much, then maybe you should go to rehab. Do your friends and family a massive favor. Become a better person, and then try the game again. Here's why I don't hate it. The night and day change is essential to the story of the game. Castlevania 2 has 3 different endings depending on how long or fast you take to finish the game. And that very important stat is kept track of by how many times the game switched from day to night before you finished it. Another cool thing about the time changing leading to the multiple endings, when Castlevania 2 first came out, I couldn't get it. I had to wait a little bit until my mom got it for me. But my buddy got it and I saw him finish the game, and then by the time I got it and finished it, I had a completely different ending. I was like, what the fuck? My feeble little mind was blown. My feeble little mind is still kind of blown. I had no idea the game had an unseen shot clock going the entire time, and I loved it all the better for that. Knowing that now, the changes the game makes from day to night, I think make it all the more intense. That shot clock adds some urgency to the game. It kind of gives you a, hey, quit fucking around, let's get going feel. And the best part about the day and night changes, something no one will ever tell you until right now, the absolute best part about those 11 seconds or whatever, is that when the text comes up explaining the change, you can sing that text like it's a Ronnie James Dio song. Cause that's how it comes across anyway. What a horrible night to have a curse! The morning sun has vanquished the horrible night! Another gripe. Sometimes when you're walking around the mansions, they got these little blocks that look like they're part of the floor, but there's actually invisible traps and you fall through them and you gotta start the whole darn thing over again. In this game, Simon Belmont, the hero, is told that he has been cursed and he has to raid several mansions across the land to collect some artifacts from old Dracula to then resurrect Dracula and destroy him again, and that will eliminate the curse. And that's not even a guaranteed way to get rid of Dracula once and for all. It's just what Simon has to do to get rid of the curse. And I know, this is the exact same plot as the movie Dunstan Checks In. If you want to gripe about that, I can't get mad at you. I get it. The mansions act like the dungeons of Castlevania 2. And mercifully, the night and day change goes on pause while you're in them, so you kind of have as much time as you want to walk around them. So it's not like the hidden panels in the floor hinder your actual goal of finishing the game during a certain time. And why wouldn't they be there? You think maybe the Prince of fucking Darkness might have laid a few traps in his little mansions to make sure no one came and took his shit? These blocks that hunters fall through seem to be throwing off some of the weaker ones, no? Okay, go to Home Depot, get more blocks, bring them to me. I put spell. Make a few of them seem like you can walk across them, but really invisible. You fall through. I put them here and there. How many blocks do I need? 1 block. Ha 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 ha. 2 blocks. Ha 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 ha. 3. Now, the only real gripe I have about Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest is that you're not resurrecting and then killing again the Count from Sesame Street. Another gripe. Boy, that shit I took sure tasted great. Anyway, like I was saying, I really wish there'd been more boss encounters in Castlevania 2. Well, see, this is a sequel to the first game. This is part 2. It takes place not that long after Simon Belmont fucked up a vast amount of bosses in Castlevania 1. You can't expect all the bosses to be as tough as Dracula, his Hua, or the Grim Reaper itself. So yeah, I'm not that mad at the lack of bosses. Simon just beat the fuck out of him 1 game ago. Again, the mansions are kind of tough on their own to explore, and each one has an objective, so it's fulfilling enough. And the enemies can be tough as shit just when you're wandering around, especially later in the game. So that makes it even tougher to try to finish this thing in a decent time. Who the fuck needs bosses? I really don't think the lack of bosses holds the game back that much at all, and I also appreciate the balls Konami had to try to make something completely different than the first game. Another gripe. No, none of my parents believed in me, ever. By the way, I think it just takes too long for that tornado to come get you, and then all them weird secrets with the lakes. That's the best part. You're fighting mummies, ghosts, floating fucking Medusa heads, and wolfmen, but having to wait a few seconds for a tornado to magically drag you across to another screen in the game, that's what upsets you? That's where you draw the line? That's your... Okay, come on. I call bullshit. I love the little secrets in the game. I think it's great that there's a ferryman who can take you to a hidden part of the game, but only if you have Dracula's heart equipped when you walk up to him. I mean, if that isn't the coolest roadmap to get some goth OPP, you tell me what it would be. And who's taking any shit from an Uber driver at that point? I got Dracula's heart, so step on it and you're turning off this EDM shit. If the right conditions are met, you kneel at a lake and it creates a secret entrance? More than once? I love the craziness of it all, and I also love how most of that bonkers shit is unknown unless you talk to the right townsperson to figure it out. Another gripe. Oh, it's confusing having to talk to so many townsfolk. Most of what the townsfolk say is bullshit. Kind of like in real life. And it's great. It's a fantastic simulator for walking around actual towns. For all the dumbasses you come across, I say, fuck your feelings. Go woke, go broke. Woke hurts my feelings. And don't say happy holidays, please. I just can't take it. You will also find the occasional townsperson who has some cool shit to say. Hey, it's really smart to get screened for cancer once you're 40, maybe even sooner. It's attacking people who are younger and younger these days. Oh, also, put the garlic next to the 3rd gravestone. Some cool shit's gonna happen. So the exploration and the interacting with the characters brings out a lot of these hidden weird secrets in the game. Kind of like those Souls games everybody loves to jizz all over. Yes, you do have to have a certain item equipped, I believe it's the red crystal, to make the tornado appear and to make some of those lakes disappear, but it's not that hard to come across. Since in the first town you come to, you see a guy who sells you the white crystal. He's hard to miss with the fucked up robe with what looks like a smiley face on the bottom of it. In fact, when in doubt, go to each town and find the person with the fucked up robe that kind of looks like a smiley face at the bottom of it. And if you're wondering how tough it is to upgrade the white crystal to the blue one to finally the red one, you just find this guy in the towns who thankfully doesn't look like anyone else in the towns. And his dumbass will trade you the better one for the shittier one that you have. Not that fucking tough at all. And when you get to the actual Castlevania, oh my god, I love that it's fucking desolate. Cause again, you just toss the fucking joint in the first game. And also, at the end, you get easily the baddest ass looking Dracula of the 8-bit era by a mile. The graphics are amazing for its day, and in true Castlevania fashion, the music is fucking amazing. Is Castlevania 2 better than Castlevania 1 or Castlevania 3? No, probably not. But those are some of the best Nintendo Entertainment System games ever fucking made. So it's okay that it's outclassed by those two. But this one is still really good. So now that I've played Devil's Advocate, why don't you go play Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest and see if you like it? And I hope you do. Thank you for tuning in. Please, if you chortled or even guffawed, subscribe to my channel, like the video, all that good shit, so you can be notified whenever I put another video out. And the more you do those things, the less I have to break your balls about it. Love you all. Please stay safe and healthy out there. Give this motherfucking game 1 shot. Ha ha ha. 2 shots. Ha ha ha. 3